Last night, I pretended to be asleep on the couch. My wife thought I was out cold. My brother showed up with a six-pack, sat next to her, and whispered, "He actually thinks we're just close friends." Can you believe that? She burst out laughing. He's so pathetic, he even bragged to me that he trusts you like a brother. Then she said, "Should we tell him?" He said, "No, let him keep playing house while we have our fun." Next day, they got a surprise they'll never forget. Alright, so I've never posted anything like this before, but I actually don't care anymore if this sounds crazy or whatever. I just need to get this out. And TBH, I need to see what other people think because I feel like I've been gaslit for months by people I literally trusted with my life. So yeah, I'm Barry. I'm 32 and this is probably the wildest week of my life and I'm only halfway through it. If you'd told me last month I'd be writing this, I would have laughed at you. But here we are anyway. So stuff started feeling off maybe 2 months ago. Not movie off, not she changed her hair and started hiding her phone off. Just like random stuff that kept building up. My wife Ramona suddenly super invested in my brother's new business thing. Texting him a lot, meeting up to help with the paperwork or check out the space, whatever. Stuff she never cared about before. My brother Leroy is 2 years younger, and I always thought he was kind of the wild card in the family, but like not evil, just not super reliable. He's always been jealous, I guess, but it was mostly harmless growing up, just siblings. Anyway, he's been trying to get this bar-restaurant mashup running forever. Always looking for a shortcut, always wanting someone to spot him. You know, the type. I didn't want to co-sign the business loan at first, but Ramona wouldn't drop it. And she was like, his family. We help each other. And I was tired and just wanted everyone to chill for 5 minutes, so I gave in. Whatever. So now they're texting, joking, sharing inside jokes at dinner, sending each other memes. I only know because sometimes she'd laugh and show me like, "Look what Leroy sent, ugh." So I'm thinking maybe they're just getting along for once. Maybe it's not that deep. But then she starts getting snappy with like I'm the annoying, like I'm always the last to know stuff. And Leroy is suddenly around all the time, always with some excuse about checking on paperwork or I just need to talk to Ramona about the menu. Okay, bro, whatever. Fast forward to last night. I come home from a long day. I'm running on 4 hours of sleep and way too much caffeine. Just want to crash on the couch and doom scroll. I pass out early. Don't even make it to the bedroom. I'm not out. Just kind of in that half awake, half dead state where you hear everything, but you can't move because you're just done. I hear them come in him with that stupid six-pack. Of course, it's the cheap stuff. Classic Leroy. And they think I'm dead to the world. I'm not. I'm just listening. And at first, it's just dumb jokes. But then it gets real weird real fast. Leroy's voice drops. He's sitting way too close to Ramona and he goes, "He actually thinks we're just close friends. Can you believe that?" And she snorts, like actually snorts, and says, "He's so pathetic he even bragged that he trusts you like a brother." Then she adds, "Should we tell him?" And Leroy goes, "Nah, let him keep playing house while we have our fun." They whisper laughing at this point, and I'm just lying there, phone face down, hands clenched, wishing I could make myself get up and just throw both of them out. But I don't, not yet. I don't even want to give them the satisfaction. I just keep listening and it's like everything clicks into place. The weird glances, the sudden business emergencies, the way they both started treating me like a background character in my own house. So, I wait. I pretend to snore a little just so they don't suspect anything. I hear them get up talking about let's go for a walk. And they leave me there. I hear the door close and that's when I just sit up and stare at the ceiling. And I swear if I had a baseball bat in my hand, I'd have put a hole in the wall. I don't even know how long I sit there just staring, going over every conversation I ever had with either of them. You start to realize all the times they made you feel like you were the weird one for asking questions. All the times Ramona brushed me off for business stuff. I remember one time last week she snapped at me because I didn't get how hard Leroy was working. And I just let it go like an idiot. My own brother in my house eating my food, drinking my beer, and laughing at me behind my back. I should have seen it. I probably did see it, but I didn't want to believe it. Classic Barry, always giving people the benefit of the doubt. Always letting family slide, even when he knows better. I guess I thought if I just played along, things would work themselves out. Turns out the only thing working itself out was me getting clowned by the two people I trusted most. So, yeah, I didn't sleep at all. I just scrolled through old text messages, checked the door cam footage because, yeah, I'm paranoid enough to have a camera facing the door thanks to living in this city, and started piecing together the timeline. I saw them leave together laughing, not even trying to hide it. I saw Ramona come back alone, looking annoyed. Didn't even check to see if I was awake, just went straight to the bedroom and slammed the door. I almost got up and packed her stuff right then, but I wanted to do it right. This morning, everything's weirdly normal. Ramona's making coffee like nothing happened. Scrolling through her phone, acting like we didn't all just cross a line you can't come back from. Leroy texts me about some urgent business thing. Classic timing. I answer him with one word just to keep up the act. I tell Ramona I'm working from home today. She barely reacts. I guess she thinks I'm just too dumb to know what's going on. Honestly, I'm not even sad. I'm just angry. Not the movie kind of angry where you throw a fit and break stuff. Just the kind that sits in your stomach and makes you want to burn down the whole world. I'm not letting them get away with it. I'm not just going to leave and let them play house in my apartment while I go crash on someone's couch like a chump. I start making a list. What's hers? What's mine? What's joint? I open the laptop and start looking up every document, every receipt, every little thing that could come back to bite me. I check the agreement for my brother's business and I see it right there in black and white. I'm the majority owner. 51%. Leroy never even bothered to read the fine print. Classic. I remember Ramona pushing me to sign, saying, "It's just paperwork. And Leroy needs this." I told her I'd only do it if my lawyer drew up the docs. And she rolled her eyes and told me I was being extra. Turns out being extra just saved my ass. I'm not going to play the victim here. I'm not letting them turn me into that guy who gets walked all over and then just disappears. If they want to treat me like an idiot, fine. But they're about to see just how much I've actually been paying attention. I text my dad just to check in. He's always been skeptical of Leroy. Never trusted him with anything bigger than a sandwich. And I can already hear the "I told you so" coming. Not ready to deal with it yet. But at least I know someone's on my side. I text my buddy Ryan, too. He's not the advice type, but he's good for a couch if things go nuclear. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but I know I'm not just going to sit here and let them laugh at me. If they want to play games, I can play, too. I'm not scared of a fight. I'm not scared of losing people who treat me like crap. They want to see what happens when I stop playing nice. Fine, game on. I'll update when I've got something to show for it. Trust me, it's coming. Update 1. Alright, so here's the update. Like I said, if you read my last post, then you know the whole asleep on the couch listening to my wife and brother clown me in my own house thing. I said game on and I meant it. I'm not here for sympathy. I'm not looking for advice. I'm just laying out what happened because honestly, I still can't believe how fast everything went sideways once I started actually doing something. So, first thing, I barely slept that night. I just kept listing stuff in my head, flipping through old messages, grabbing every charger, receipt, random paper I could find before anyone woke up. Sun wasn't even up yet, and I'm digging through the junk drawer for that old thumb drive I haven't used in forever. But hey, backup is backup. I made copies of everything. Doorcam clips. Yeah, timestamps and all. All our texts, emails where my loving wife is pushing me to help Leroy. All the little things that seemed like nothing at the time. I even screen recorded the bank app showing every transfer for the last year. Not going to get caught out here with, "Oh, you're just overreacting," or "It's not what it looks like." Nah, this is receipts on receipts. I kept checking the door, expecting Ramona to get up and start asking why I'm making so much noise, but she just scrolled through her phone in bed and let me be. She's gotten used to me doing boring paperwork stuff, I guess. I heard her call her mom, and it was weirdly cheerful, like not a care in the world. It actually pissed me off more, If I'm being real. Leroy texted around 9 a.m. acting like nothing happened, asking if I could cover a small supplier bill for him because his liquidity is tight. He loves using business words he doesn't understand. I just replied with a thumbs up because I didn't want him to get suspicious. I needed the day and I needed him out of the way. I put on some music, not even my regular playlist, just whatever was loud enough in my headphones to drown out the nonsense in my head, and started lining up all the stuff I'd need. I checked the business partnership agreement for the 100th time. And yeah, right there, clear as day. I'm the majority stakeholder, 51%. I can shut it down, open new accounts, fire staff, whatever. Leroy never read anything past the first page, just signed and went off to celebrate with another round of beers. I almost laughed, not going to lie. I texted my lawyer, not some big shot. Just a guy I know from high school who's helped me with contracts before. Don't let anyone tell you it's not worth having a decent lawyer in your contacts. I told him to start divorce paperwork hard and fast and to use the recording and prenup update. I didn't want any maybe we can talk this out drama. I want it airtight, no loopholes. No, but he said, she said. I sent him the files, the video, the agreement, everything. I checked the bank account next. Turns out that joint savings account only my name on it. I moved every cent into a new one locked down with 2-factor different passwords, the works. I know this sounds petty, but I'm not about to fund their little fun while I'm out here picking up the pieces. And before anyone comes at me, all of it's legal. I checked with my guy first. If she wants to contest it, she can try. But with what I've got, good luck. I started making piles in the living room. One for her stuff, one for stuff I paid for, one for stuff I didn't care about. I found her old laptop she never uses and boxed it up. Same with her makeup hoard. Seriously, how does one person need 4 drawers of face paint? I started sticking notes on. Yeah, I know it's petty, but after hearing your wife call you pathetic in your own house, petty feels like therapy. Liar. Gold digger. Hope it was worth it. I wrote out everyone, slapped it on her bags, and didn't even care if the sticky notes fell off. I wanted her to see it. Ramona finally walked in while I was taping up boxes. She goes, "What are you doing?" All cold and annoyed. I told her I was just clearing out clutter. She rolled her eyes, muttered something about me being so dramatic, and went back to scrolling on her phone. Not even a hint of guilt. I almost lost it right there, but I had to finish the setup. I called the bank next, told them I was the majority owner on the business account, gave them the papers, asked them to freeze everything immediately. Woman on the phone asked 3 times if I was sure, and I said absolutely. She said there'd be a hold on outgoing payments, no new charges, nothing until further notice. I could almost hear Leroy's meltdown from across town. I messaged the landlord for the bar-restaurant spot. Told him I was terminating the lease under my author. He sounded annoyed, but honestly, he probably expected this with how flaky my brother's been. I said I'd send the paperwork that day. I hit up the supplier, too, explained the restructuring, and told them to direct all current debts to the minority partner, Leroy. I didn't even care if it sounded harsh. That's what the contract said, and I'm not eating his debt. It's weird. The more I did, the calmer I got. Not zen calm, just like focused. Like I'd been waiting months to finally do something real. I kept picturing the two of them laughing while I was right there. And every time I started to slow down, I just remembered that. My phone kept buzzing. First Leroy, then Ramona. She started getting snippy, asking why I was acting weird. What's with the boxes? Why is the bank app not working? Did I mess up something with the business? I just kept it short. Told her to call her own bank if she had question. She started yelling, and at one point she actually slapped one of the boxes off the table, and I just picked it up and put it right back. I told her calm but not soft. She should probably start packing if she wanted to keep her stuff from ending up in the trash. She tried to push past me to get her charger, and I just stepped in front and told her no. We ended up in a short shoving match. Nothing wild, just her trying to act tough and me not budging. She called me a coward. I told her to call whoever she wanted and slammed the bedroom door behind me. I could hear her on the phone with someone after. Probably her mom again, voice all choked up. But I don't care. You don't get to clown me and then play victim when you get caught. I ordered lunch, sat in the kitchen eating cold takeout while I watched the door cam feed on my phone. I saw Leroy's car pull up, him looking pissed, walking up and knocking on the door. I ignored. He tried calling. I let it go to voicemail. He texted blowing up my phone with, "Bro, what's going on? And did you mess up the account?" I just sent him a screenshot of the contract with my name at the top and nothing else. He tried the door again, yelling through the mail slot, but I just cranked up the music and waited him out. I started moving all of Ramona's stuff into black contractor bags, carrying them to the living room window. She tried to grab a couple and I told her to back off. She slapped my arm. I pushed her hand away and told her again, "This is my place. You're leaving, not the other way around." At that point, she started crying, but I'm not going to lie. I didn't feel anything but relief. My dad called in the middle of all this. Says he heard from my aunt. Classic family grapevine. Nothing is ever private. Wanted to know if the rumors were true. I told him straight up, "Yeah, Leroy and Ramona stabbed me in the back, but I'm handling it." He just sighed and said he'd be around if I needed anything. Not "I told you so," just dad stuff. I hung up without saying much else. The last thing I did before calling it a day was send my lawyer all the updated files, proof of the prenup recording, the business docs, everything with timestamps. I told him to go nuclear, no warning, no letting them get their story together. He called back and said, "You sure?" And I said, "Do it." So yeah, that's where I'm at now. House is a mess. Phone is blowing up, but for once, I don't feel like I'm the one getting clowned. I know it's not over yet. Not by a long shot. Ramona's still here for now. Leroy's pacing around outside like a lost dog. But tomorrow's when it all lands. I'm not backing down. Next update coming soon. You want to see how people act when they realize you're not playing? Stay tuned. Update 2. So, if you're here from the last 2 posts, yeah, this is where it gets ugly. It's not some Hollywood thing where the guy just moves out and lets everyone heal or whatever. Nah, I wanted them to feel it. Honestly, I'm surprised how much of it was just basic paperwork and following through on stuff everyone always says they'll do, but never actually does. Anyway, buckle in. First thing the morning after I boxed all Ramona's stuff, I get up to her already making calls, pacing the kitchen in those ugly slippers she always wears. She's talking fast, real clipped, dropping words like access issue and bank mistake. I don't say a word, just pour my coffee and start moving trash bags to the front door. She tries blocking me and I just keep walking. I'm not playing nice anymore. I'm not asking for space. I'm done. She's got her phone out, probably texting Leroy, probably thinking I'm just having a moment. Nah, this is permanent. Leroy, meanwhile, is blowing up my phone with a level of desperation I haven't seen from him since he crashed my old car and tried to hide it from our parents. Like, 10 missed calls in an hour. And then he starts sending voice notes, all whiny stuff about, "Bro, you need to fix this. And I got payroll coming up. You can't do this to me." I just ignore it. I go through my emails while I eat. Just normal stuff. But I CC my lawyer on every single thing. I want a paper trail so deep Leroy could swim in it. Around 11 a.m., I get a call from the landlord of the restaurant space, sounding annoyed, but not surprised. He's like, "So, you're terminating the lease?" And I say, "Yeah, effective immediately. I'm the majority." Here's the doc. End of story. He says he'll start the process. And asks if Leroy knows yet. I say he will. And hang up. While all this is happening, Ramona is still in the kitchen trying to act casual, but her eyes keep darting to my phone. She finally snaps and says, "What did you do to the account?" I tell her flat. "I moved my money. It's all legal. Check the paperwork." She gets red, actually throws a mug at the sink, misses, shatters everywhere, and tries to slap my arm when I walk by. I push her hand away. Tell her to calm down before she breaks something else. She says I'm being cruel. I just laugh. Honestly, I haven't felt this clear in years. Then my phone blows up again. This time it's the supplier for the restaurant, asking what the hell is going on and who's paying the outstanding invoices. I say, as of today, all debts go to the minority partner. Check the contract. Good luck. Dude starts arguing, but I just hang up. Not my circus, not my monkey. Leroy's problem now. Ramona is now on the phone with her mom, loud enough for the neighbors to probably hear, telling her I'm ruining her life and stealing everything. I actually hear her mom on speaker telling her to come home if she needs to. I don't care. I open the window and start tossing the first of her bags onto the curb. She shrieks, tries to pull one back in, but I yank it away and tell her she should probably start calling an Uber. She slaps my chest. I barely even feel it, and she storms out, slamming the door so hard a picture falls off the wall. Whatever. Then, just as I'm taping up the last box, Leroy shows up all red-faced, sweating, banging on the door like he owns the place. I let him in because honestly, I want to see his face. He storms in, tries to chest bump me, gets all up in my face, shouting about how I'm ruining everything, and you can't just freeze the account. That's not how this works. I tell him, it's in the contract. You signed it. Maybe you should have read it. He tries to shove me. I shove him right back. He stumbles onto the couch and starts yelling for Ramona. She comes out of the bedroom, mascara smeared, phone clutched like it's going to save her, and just starts screaming at both of us. I tell them both to get out. Leroy starts pacing, calling me a traitor, a snake, whatever. And I just keep repeating, you did this, not me. He actually tries to throw a punch, like a real one, but he's never been good at that, so it just glances off my shoulder, and I push him right back toward the door. I slam it behind him, lock it, and turn up the music loud enough to drown out their arguing in the hallway. I text my dad, just a heads up, so he doesn't hear about it from someone else. He texts back, Leroy is an idiot, but you did what you had to. Classic dad, zero sugarcoating. I know my mom's going to call later with a million questions, but I'll deal with that when it comes. The rest of the day is just damage. I get 4 calls from the bank confirming I want the freeze to stay. I do. I get another email from the landlord. Lease is done and Leroy's officially on the hook for the last 2 months of rent. He tries to call again. I block his number. Ramona's blowing up group chats with Barry's lost his mind, but nobody's buying it. Especially not after I drop screenshots in a couple of family chats showing her and Leroy's messages. No context, just facts. My uncle actually messages me. Good for I guess you never really know who's watching. By that night, it's pouring rain. I'm sitting in my living room with the window cracked, watching the door cam feed on my phone. Leroy and Ramona are outside soaked, yelling up at my window like they're in some soap opera. Neighbors are peeking out. One guy across the street is literally filming with his phone. I could go out and yell, but I don't. I just watch. At one point, Ramona actually tries to buzz the apartment next door, and the neighbor tells her to get lost. Leroy is kicking at the curb, screaming about his money and his business. I text my lawyer thumbs up and sit back. The fallout starts quick. Next morning, I get 3 emails from suppliers, 2 from the landlord, 1 from a cousin who heard about the drama from his mom. Leroy's business is officially dead in the water, and apparently, he's already racked up a couple grand in unpaid invoices. Ramona's card gets declined at the pharmacy. I know because she texts me a wall of insults, then calls me a thief. I just reply with a screenshot of her own prenup update, the one she signed literally on video, agreeing that cheating equals forfeiting asset claims. She goes radio silent. My dad calls again, asks if I'm okay. I tell him, yeah, it's weird, but I'm good. He says, Leroy's staying at my aunt's place, but nobody's really talking to him. I don't say much back. I'm not looking for sympathy. I just want them gone. The best part, the door cam footage. I replay it later. Leroy's face when he realizes he can't get in. Ramona's meltdown. The bags on the curb. There's this one shot where the neighbor across the street gives me a slow clap from his window. And honestly, that's the only applause I've ever wanted. So, yeah, they thought I'd just roll over. Instead, I burned it all down legally, financially, socially. They lost the money, the business, the apartment, and each other. I'm not saying I feel nothing. I feel a lot. But mostly, I feel done. One more update coming. Trust me, it's not over yet. Final update. So, I guess this is it. Not sure if anyone's still following this whole saga, but I promised the last update. And honestly, I'm writing this out partly for all the people who DM'd me saying, don't let them off easy. And partly cause I just want to remember what it feels like to actually stand up for myself for once instead of just letting people walk all over me. The weirdest thing is how fast it all just settles. Like, you expect fireworks or the world to explode or something. But no, mostly it's just awkward silences, slammed doors, and a lot of people suddenly realizing they can't just talk their way out of what they did. That's what happened here. At least so after that night with Ramona and Leroy outside my apartment screaming like maniacs. And Eniel, the guy filming across the street, still cracks me up. Never met him, but I owe him a beer. I did exactly what I said I'd do. I didn't let them back in. Not for closure, not for one last talk. Nothing. I changed the locks that night. I put all the door cam clips in a folder on my laptop just in case. And then I just waited, not for them, but for the fallout. First day after I get a call from my mom. She's heard bits and pieces, mostly from my aunt. And she's got that tone like she's bracing for drama. I tell her, yeah, it's real. I don't go into details. I just say, they did what they did. I'm out. End of story. She says she's sorry, then asks if Leroy can stay at her place for a night or two. I say, that's your call, but don't ask me to bail him out. She says she understands. Classic mom, still trying to keep everyone talking, even when there's nothing left to say. Ramona's stuff is gone by noon. Her mom picked it up, didn't say a word, just glared at me and loaded the car. I didn't bother saying anything back. I'm not the one hiding. Group chats are dead quiet, except for the one cousin who keeps sending me you good texts. I just reply with a thumbs up. I don't need a pity party. I just want my apartment to stop smelling like her perfume. Leroy tries calling from like 3 different numbers. Even tries to FaceTime. I block them all. He sends some long email about, you ruined my life and family means nothing to you, blah blah blah. I don't even reply. I forward it to my lawyer just in case, but I'm not giving him the fight he wants. He can scream at the wind for all I care. The legal side is honestly the easiest part. Lawyer calls me, says the divorce is moving fast. Ramona has no claim. Not with the prenup and all the receipts I gave him. She tries to contest it, but her signature's on the update, her voice on the file. She gets nothing. No apartment, no cash, not a single thing. She's blowing up my phone at first, then switches to guilt trips, then just silenced. Last I heard, she crashed at her mom's for a while, then moved in with some friend. Not my problem. As for Leroy, the business is dead. Landlord sent him a final bill for breaking the lease. He's on the hook for thousands. Suppliers are blowing up his phone. I know because one of them called me by mistake, then apologized when I sent him the contract page showing Leroy's name. Family group chat is a mess. Everyone taking sides, but honestly, most people are just tired of his excuses. My dad calls to say he's had enough of the drama and tells me to focus on myself for once. I actually listen this time. The only real scene is a couple days later. I'm coming back from getting groceries and Leroy is standing outside the building looking rough like no sleep, same hoodie as 2 days ago. He tries to stop me at the door, starts ranting about how could you do this? Why would you throw your own family away, etc. I don't even slow down, just tell him you did this, not me. He tries to block the door and I push past him, bags in hand. He tries to grab my arm and I shove him back. Not hard, but enough. He actually swings at the door as I close it. I lock it and put my headphones on. Neighbors saw, but nobody said a word. Not their circus, not their monkey. Ramona shows up once more, bang on the door, full meltdown. She's crying, yelling, begging. I tell her through the door to leave or I'll call the building manager. She starts sobbing, says she made a mistake. I tell her, you made a choice, Now live with it. She leaves, slamming the hallway door so hard I hear it 3 floors up. That's the last time I see her in person. The rest is just clean up. I open new accounts, change passwords, block them every move what's left of her stuff out, repaint the living room, buy new pillows, change the sheets. Little things, but it helps. I don't go on some healing journey or whatever. I just live. I order pizza. I doom scroll. I go for walks. It's not a movie. It's just real life picking up where it left off. People keep asking if I'll ever talk to them again. IDK. Maybe one day if I'm bored and want to see how rock bottom looks up close. Probably not. They still try sometimes. Ramona sent a DM from a burner account. Leroy called my dad asking for money. I just block, delete, move on. No revenge fantasies, no closure talks, just nothing. They don't get to be characters in my life anymore. Funniest thing is people around me keep acting like I should feel bad. Like, aren't you lonely? Or don't you miss her? Or family is family. I just shrug. I'd rather be alone than surrounded by snakes. If that makes me the bad guy, then whatever. Last thing I'll say for anyone who's where I was, you don't have to forgive anyone who spits in your face. You don't owe them a conversation. You don't have to make yourself smaller so they can feel big. Do what's right for you. And if you ever wonder if you're being too harsh, just remember how easy it was for them to laugh at you when they thought you were asleep. That's it. No epiphany. No and then I found love again nonsense. Just me, my apartment, and peace for the first time in years.